incident of that violence that we saw this morning with sticks and stone being thrown at journalists and at police, and of course a stun grenade, that very first one needing to be thrown into that crowd.
The Home Affairs, he just lied for us. He said we go to Malawi, but he take the other people to send to Rendela. Why are you taking us to Rendela now? We don't want to go to Rendela. Mina ngishala Malawi. Why msukumeza abantu bami? When I'm Zulu,
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So violence has erupted again on our soil, this time at Sherwood Community Hall in Durban. Thousands of illegal Malawian nationals clashed with police, attacked media, and turned a peaceful neighborhood into chaos. We're gonna address this incident directly, without excuses or political correctness, because South Africa must come first. Our laws, our communities, our safety. Before we jump into the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Let's get into it.
It's a misunderstanding. When my fellow guys, when they see the people are being loaded in the Home Affairs van, they were thinking now they are getting arrested because they wanted to know where they are going. So when we coming to find clarity with the Home Affairs, when they started to fight. So as they were fighting now, I couldn't explain anything. Some, to me, they are taking advantage. I have to be honest. Because now some, they just say, because it's free buses, let me just go there. So to say honestly speaking, some, they just coming for free buses.
Back to back. So as you heard from that conversation, Adam Ali does state that there was misinformation regarding one of the Malawian nationals being arrested. But I'm going to bring in now the provincial manager, Cyril Mncwabe, who's going to elaborate on that point. We're hearing that the reason why there was so much chaos and tensions, there was someone that was allegedly arrested. Maybe just to clarify for us, I know there was a Home Affairs van that was also involved in the matter.
Good afternoon to yourself and the viewers. What actually happened in the morning, we were supposed to be taking some of the people that are supposed to appear before the court as part of compliance to the Immigration Act that requires that anybody that needs to be deported needs to appear before the magistrate and be confirmed for deportation. So as we were loading using our own vehicles from Home Affairs, people thought that these people were being arrested and taken to Lindela, which is our repatriation center in Johannesburg. So there was that misinformation on the side maybe of the Malawians, because the matter had been discussed and agreed to in terms of the approach yesterday, that there will be people taken to the court for confirmation before they can be loaded into the buses that must leave for Malawi.
Maybe just to explain to us why some are being repatriated and why some are being deported.
Let me try and explain why we're running a dual process, as we want to know. We're running a dual process because when you're going to do a repatriation is solely supposed to be funded by the government of the country where these people come from. So which means we are relying upon the Malawians to provide transport for the people. And there has been very slow progress from their side in terms of acquiring buses, necessary buses to come and take the people out. Then here in South Africa, the directive was that if the government of South Africa has got to come in and assist with this whole process, we cannot use the money of the South African government to do repatriation. Only thing we can do is to do a deportation. That is why when you go with the route of deportation, you've got to take people to the court, and that is what we are currently busy with.
So just to understand, are we now saying that the South African government is somewhat now involved in terms of funding this process? Because initially it was stated that it was the Malawian national, I beg your pardon, the Malawian government.
Yes, the government has already made a decision for us to also implement deportation, which is a process that is solely funded by the government. And it's a responsibility of the Department of Home Affairs to ensure that every person that needs to be taken out of the country through our processes we've got to get that kind of a confirmation by the magistrate. That's why I say we are currently running these two processes, because the slow movement of the Malawi government in terms of ensuring that enough buses are coming to take the citizens of Malawi out.
That's Cyril Mngwabe there, the provincial manager.
Siyavuma kuhamba yeso. Siyavuma kuhamba. Ngoba indawo siyahamba siyayazi. Mina ngihlala eMalawi. Why msukumeza abantu bami la? Wena mZulu ngiyakutshela ukuthi wena wayazi khuluma isiZulu angeke. Oze la sikhulume nawe mZulu nginyaka mZulu. Thina siyavuma ukuthi siyahamba. Malume. Because the Home Affairs he just lied for us. He said we go to Malawi, but he take the other people to send to Rendela. So that's the problem. So if you want to send us to Rendela, just talk straight. Or some people, there's a lot of people around here, né? So as you can see, so you have to talk straight. Why are you taking us to Lindela now? We don't want to go to Lindela.
We are here to assist you all. Yeah. You all want to go home? Yeah. We are making arrangements with the government. We have no place here. Okay. There's no place here for you all. You can see it's full. We over 10,000 people here. Sabr. There's over 10,000 people here. It's too small, this grounds. We have got a new place to move you all in a beachfront. The Durban drive-in. We are setting up camps now for you all. We are busy there setting up camps for you all. Big camps. The Home Affairs will move there. They will bring more people to process you all quickly, so you can go home quickly. But if you'll behave this way, you're making difficult for you and for me.
Yeah, those are images from just about 45 minutes ago in Sherwood in Durban, where that crowd, of course, attempts were being made to calm the crowd down. That was the first incident of that violence that we saw this morning, with sticks and stone being thrown at journalists and at police. And, of course, a stun grenade, that very first one needing to be thrown into that crowd. The first attempts to calm them down. Unfortunately, because of how large those crowds are, the difficulty becomes you've got a group that comes in, is riled up, moved aside after they have been, of course, informed of the plan. Another group, of course, then coming in and hearing of alleged plans to move them to the Lindela Repatriation Center. Then you've got that cycle of that violence continuing because of how large those crowds are. Now, let's give you a bit of perspective as the numbers, where the numbers are concerned. Just weeks ago, we were talking about hundreds of Malawians that were in that area wanting to be repatriated and sent back home. Now we're looking at 6,000 in that space. We heard on Monday that 1,100 of them were processed by the Home Affairs Department and found that they were, in fact, in the country illegally. That was on Monday. On Sunday, 8 buses were in the area, removing some of those and sending them back to Malawi. Another group of 8 has also been sent earlier on in the week, and so those buses continue to come in. The difficulty, however, is now starting to become the issue of resources, with the Malawian government having sent communication that it needs donations at this point to be able to send more buses to repatriate and send their citizens back to Malawi. In the meantime, though, the numbers continue to swell. You've got the Malawian government speaking of removing 10,000 Malawians from the country. But at Sherwood alone, you've got 6,000 people that have been camping there. Among them have been women and children. Over the past few days, it has been the women and children that have been prioritized to be removed from that area. Much of the frustration now from the men, or some of the men that have remained behind, is that now they're being told that they may instead be sent to Lindela Repatriation Center. They're arguing that they've committed no crimes. There is also the logistical nightmare of what happens to their belongings as all of this movement takes place. And now, because the area in Sherwood is so overcrowded, you do, of course, have plans to move them to the beachfront. Those are images from earlier, and perhaps we can bring the sound up and you're able to hear those images from earlier when that a stun grenade was fired in Sherwood. All right, we'll bring you the sound a little bit later on, but those were images from just after 10:30 there. You see the sticks and stones being thrown at police. Our very own reporters also needing to get out of the way, and the difficulty that they're having is needing to communicate to this group that there are plans to remove them and also plans to send them to the beach front in Durban. We will take you back to that story. Things seemingly having calmed down once again, but we'll watch to see if things stay that way, because just moments ago we saw stun grenades needing to be fired once again.
So over 6,000 Malawians have been camping at and around Sherwood Hall after fleeing from the protests against illegal immigration. When authorities tried to process and move them, the situation exploded. The crowd started throwing rocks, sticks, and bottles at the police. So the SAPS members responded with rubber bullets and stun grenades. In the chaos, these foreigners also turned on journalists who were trying to report on the matter. Residents watched in fear as illegals ran into private properties, trespassing and threatening their safety. The area has been left filthy and overwhelmed. Home Affairs officials explained that some of the people were not being taken to Malawi immediately. They were being taken to magistrates' courts first, as required by immigration law before deportation. But the crowd didn't want that. They expected buses that are going straight home, and they used violence to resist. Think about that. People who entered our country illegally now attacking our police for following legal process. This is outrageous. You come into South Africa undocumented, strain our resources, overcrowd communities, and then have the audacity to fight authorities when they try to send you back. You are here illegally. You have no right to make demands. You have no right to attack the very people tasked with upholding the law. This one incident in Durban exposes the scale of this crisis. Just 6,000 wanting to live in this small area. How many more are hiding across the country? Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Illegal immigration has flooded our nation, bringing crime, filth, and pressure on housing, hospitals, and jobs meant for South Africans. And without a surprise, the Malawian government is dragging its feet. They're now asking for donations and buses instead of taking responsibility for their citizens. This pattern repeats across Africa. Countries export their people to South Africa, then refuse to help clean up the mess. No more. We will not babysit or fund their failures. And let's be honest about the court process. We understand it's the law, but it's slowing everything down. While lawyers argue and cases drag on, our people continue to suffer. The government must fast-track deportations. Pack them up like sardines and send them home if you have to. Our sovereignty and the safety of our citizens comes before endless red tape. To every illegal foreigner, South Africa is not your playground. To the communities bearing the brunt, this chaos in your neighborhood is unacceptable. South Africa belongs to South Africans. We have every right to secure our borders, enforce our immigration laws, and remove those who disrespect our country. No more tolerance for violence against our police by aliens. No more turning our suburbs into refugee camps. And the time for weak leadership and open borders is over. We must demand real action, mass deportations, sealed borders, and South Africans being put first in every decision. We've been patient for way too long. Our streets, our jobs, and our future must be protected. This is our home, so we're going to take it back firmly and decisively. Watch the video on your left to see Gayton Flip-Flop McKenzie switching up his whole stance on illegal immigration. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Until next time.